At 56, I decided to work remotely from Croatia as a digital nomad. If I haven't met you yet, I'm Jennifer Gilman and I'm a functional medicine health and life coach. Today, we're going to talk about three big things. Three things I had to really work on months before this big move. So if you're thinking about life abroad, you're going to want to stay right here with me. The first is going to be health insurance abroad and for those maybe small trips you come back home. The second is credit cards, how to avoid all those foreign transaction fees. And third, we're going to talk about a checking account because you're going to want to have that ATM pulling out cash, but not pay all those fees. And I do have a bonus for you of how to avoid the wire transfer fees when paying your rent. Let's first dive into health insurance. You're going to want to look at what coverage you currently have, right? Just to have make sure you have a real full understanding of that. And then based on the stage of life you're in, you're going to think about, well, what do I really need when I'm abroad? And will I be home enough? Am I coming home at all that I still need a little bit of coverage at home in case something happens, right? Do you cancel it? Do you keep a high deductible plan? What is it you're going to do? So you really want to figure that out first. How often do you go to the doctors? Do you plan on finding doctors wherever you're going to? Once you write all that out of what your plan of action is, then you can look at what you're going to do with your current plan at home, whether you cancel it or maybe move it into a high deductible plan, or maybe keep it exactly the same if you're coming home frequently. Maybe you're only going to be gone for a few months and it doesn't matter. Definitely keep your home plan, that kind of situation. So think about that first. And then we can go ahead and look at the global plans. I'm going to talk about two companies for you to check out. The first is Cigna Global. They are becoming more and more competitive. So a lot of digital nomads are using them. The other is Safety Wing, and that company has been used for quite some time. A lot of digital nomads are using Safety Wing. They just make it super easy for anyone living abroad to jump onto their plans for emergencies in many countries. So here's the deal. When you're looking at either those, Cigna Global or Safety Wing, don't be surprised. It's going to say wherever you're traveling, not just to the country that you're at, but it doesn't cover your home country. So in this case, it's the United States for me. So as I'm looking at Safety Wing and Cigna and looking for that international plan, I can go anywhere. I can be in Croatia and I could be popping around to other countries. If something happens, I'm going to be covered. So that gives me massive peace of mind. If I need to go to the hospital in France or Spain or wherever, but yet I'm living in Croatia, I'm still going to be covered for those emergencies. Really important to me. But when I come back to the US, which is probably going to be a couple of times, I'm not covered. So that's why you do want to look at your current plan and make some really smart decisions around that. I'll tell you what I decided to do. I found that I'm not going to be home frequently, but just enough to turn my plan into a high deductible plan. So I went ahead and did that already. So I'm officially moved over to a high deductible plan. I'm leaving in exactly 2 weeks. So that was important for me to look at. Don't do that switch until I'm closer to the date of departure. And then I did look at Cigna. It was a little bit higher than Safety Wing for the same coverage in my mind. I looked at both side by side. So I'm going with Safety Wing, but I don't need to get that until actually the day I'm leaving. So don't pre-buy that. You're not in the country yet. You can, as a matter of fact, be in the airport waiting for your flight to take off and purchase it right then and there. So don't, pay for anything that really you don't need yet. Do it right up till the day of departure. Go online and purchase your plan, whether it's Cigna Global or Safety Wing. Now, here's something I want to shout out because I don't know all of the companies out there. There might be other ones. So if you are listening to this and you know of other options, please put them in the comments for our community, so that we know more about the other options there. And if you're not listening to this in the YouTube app, you're going to want to pop over there now, because that way, when you're in the YouTube app, you'll see the comments, you'll see the description with all of my links that I'm going to have linked in. And while you're there, you can give me a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on future episodes. Credit cards. I learned a big lesson here. All these years I've been traveling, and because I don't go frequently enough, I didn't pay attention to the foreign transaction fees that were racking up on my credit card. So finally, I come back from Spain just several months ago, back in March, so earlier this year, and I actually looked at my credit card, all those fees, and I didn't even want to add this up, you guys. It was frightening. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to even know the number here. I've got to get a better credit card for my international travel. So again, research months before you go so you pick the card that's right for you, depending on what you're looking for, the different perks, the points, travel insurance. The really good cards have great travel insurance, interruption insurance, lost baggage, insurance. It's got everything, so you don't have to buy extra travel insurance typically, as long as you get the right card. So of course I was done after that Spain trip, and I want to share a really good resource. I learned so much from him. It's a podcast called All the Hacks. So All the Hacks by Chris Hutchins. And he has a background in being a wealth manager and just a huge financial background. So his podcast is all about finances and really making sure that you're getting the best from whatever financial vehicles or platforms you're using. I listened to several of his podcasts and then also did some research online to come up with what I decided to do. First of all, I had the wrong cards. I totally had the wrong cards for both business and personal. So I had to start the process of applying for other cards. I wanted to make sure I had one main one for personal use and then a really good one for business use while I'm over there. What I decided to do was go with Chase Sapphire. Chase Sapphire Preferred. It's a really good card, and they have another higher level too. The card I chose is just $95 a year, and trust me, that $95, I'm saving way more than that by going with this card. It has 0 foreign transaction fees and an excellent point system for all kinds of travel, but also just everyday purchases. So many of you probably are like, yeah, Chase Sapphire. It's a well-known card that most everybody really enjoys. The perks, easy to use. And then also it has the travel insurance, right? So Chase Sapphire, can't recommend it enough. That's what I chose for personal usage. Now, if you want to stay in the Chase family, that's a great idea. So you can go with Chase Inc. maybe. Think about that for business. So if you have a business and you need a personal card, you're going to want to get two, right? Like I had to do. And so I could have gone with Chase Inc., but I was really intrigued by Citi Strata Premier. So Citi's newer card, it's Citi Strata Premier. I heard about it through Chris Hutchins and I got really interested, and I started doing side-by-side comparisons. I'm like, I'm going with the Citi Strata Premier. I also in the past have had a different Citi card, so my experience was good. So I went ahead and decided to do that one for my business. So Citi Strata Premier, similar things, 0 transaction fees, great international travel card, great point system. They have a really good sign-on, bonus. And it's again, $95 per year, but you make up like more than that in not having to pay these fees like I did when I went to Spain. So those are the 2 cards I chose to get. I really recommend, keeping up to date at this time of, recording. It's August 2025. So if you're listening to this and it's a year from now or whatever, you might want to jump onto Chris's podcast and just see what's the latest and greatest, because cards are always changing and different perks are always changing. Okay, the third tip I want to talk about today is the checking account. Do you have to just all of a sudden go over there and open checking accounts? Do you keep checking accounts open here? What do you do? So confusing, right? So again, this was one that I turned to Chris Hutchins on his podcast, All the Hacks. I learned so much and then did my own research, and I looked into the various companies he was recommending. Now for me, what I decided to do was I already had a Schwab brokerage account. And so Schwab offers an investor checking account as long as you have a brokerage account open. I decided to go that route because it just makes it easy to have this checking account open. And while I'm over there, I have a debit card and I can use it. And at the end of the month, they wipe out all ATM fees, all of them. So be careful because some accounts only offer a certain number per month. I have unlimited. I can use that card as much as I want to pull out euros and use it as needed, right? So you want that freedom. So make sure you're looking at an account where there's like unlimited ATM withdrawals and you're going to get reimbursed for all those fees at the end of the month. That's typically how those accounts work. That's how it works for the account that I chose. Now, what's nice about this is I can still keep my setup of accounts at a bank. I use a credit union, actually, Achieve a credit union. I've had that set up for years now for many things. So the thought for me of like, I have vacation rental account, I've got my business accounts, I've got my personal accounts, and I thought, oh my God, to like have to do all this, I was actually getting overwhelmed. So when I found out about this investor checking account through Schwab, I'm like, no, I can keep all of my accounts at Achieva and just move the money I need over to the Schwab checking account and then pull out money with my debit card. Easy peasy, right? So don't think you have to all of a sudden like close all your accounts in one bank and open them all in another. You may only need one account and then you can just transfer it easily from wherever you are in the world, right? Super easy. So the other thing that I really like about that is I didn't have to set up a savings account. Some banks, make you do a savings account. And just a quick note on savings account. And, I worked with my financial advisor in this. I was like, I want to get away from the regular bank savings account because you like earn no money, right? So if you haven't heard of yet the high yield savings accounts, you would want to check into these. I know there's several companies that have them. I chose American Express. Currently right now it's earning 3.5%. Originally it was 3.8, but with the economy, sometimes it goes down a little bit. So there are high yield savings accounts, right now, anywhere from like 3.5 or so, or even a little bit less, up to 4.0%. And that is by far better than most of your bank savings accounts. So just be careful. You might want to move it into a vehicle that you're earning a little bit more, at least if you have an emergency savings like I do. A couple other options on those checking accounts that I did look into, because remember I was researching a couple based on what I was hearing Chris Hutchins talk about. So SoFi is really well known. You can check into that company. They have a lot of options for various things, but they do have a pretty good international checking account. And then a newer one that he talked about was Mercury. So Mercury has some newer things that used to be apparently harder to get in. The cost for them, though, there's actually a cost per month. So just be cautious. It depends on how much you really need it. I think he was saying it was like $295 a month. I wasn't really interested. I'm like looking for free, right? So Mercury, though, if you're using a checking account quite frequently and you really need a solid option and maybe some other perks, maybe check into Mercury for that. And finally, the bonus for you. I was at the point where now I needed to put a security deposit down for the apartment I'm renting. And he's like telling me this is, it's like ACC versus ACH. And he's giving me the account number. I'm like, wait a minute. Well, how could I avoid this wire transfer fee? Some banks have wire transfer fees for free. My bank did not have that. It was going to be a fee. And I thought long term, I'm paying my landlord monthly. There's got to be another option, right? So I asked him and he said, oh, everyone pays me by Revolut. So Revolut is like Venmo, but it's global. And I had heard just a little smidgen about this. I think it was my relocation specialist that told me first about it. I think she was the one. But yes, it's like global Venmo. So I set the account up. I moved money from my Schwab account so that there was no foreign transaction fees into the Revolut account, and then I paid them. Easy peasy, no fees whatsoever. So I'm really excited about that. Now Revolut has lots of other options. Apparently you can buy like stocks on it. You can like really, get into major financials. You can have a lot of things on there. You can have everything there. But for me, I was just looking at, I want the free version of Revolut. I don't want to pay any extra money for that. I just want to pay my rent with no wire transfer. So I love that. So we talked about health insurance, credit cards, checking accounts, and the bonus of Revolut, the global Venmo, right? This gives me so much peace of mind. And it will for you too, because if you can keep more money for all your travels and excursions, you're gonna love that, right? Our next episode, I just want to make sure you know about this. It's going to be my final days leading up to leaving for Croatia and tips on how to reduce the stress by planning those last few days to make sure they're enjoyable with your loved ones and having this transition with ease. If you like this episode, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future episodes. I leave you with this. What is it that you've been wanting to do that you just haven't done, right? What is that? And what is holding you back? Is it maybe your health? Or maybe it's the fear of making a big change. You don't have to do this alone. I can help you with this. So reach out to me so I can help you make the next step. Bye for now.